Hey, we're here for the SmartB Sports Update. We got Pearcey in again to discuss all the issues around Rugby League. How you going, man?
Good, boys. Good to be back on.
Hey Mitch, welcome.
How's the business? Good?
Yeah, heaps good, man. We got lots of users signing up. Tipping comp's going gangbusters. I'm on top of the Rugby League tipping comp.
Wow. It's hard to bet against at the moment.
Yeah, it's
hard to bet on at the moment with the...
Well, I'm averaging 5 a week.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's it. That's the best I can do. Last year I was way better. Like the last couple of years have been way better. This year is ridiculous.
Titans let me down a couple of times there. They were winning, but I wasn't going for them.
Yeah, and then you
tip... A couple of little smokies there.
Everyone tipped the Titans last week and they got smashed by the Sharks. It was ridiculous. And then Brisbane...
Another there for a bit. It was a bit hard to go.
Brisbane is all over the shop. You never know what you're going to get with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So
the cows are up and down, aren't they?
Yeah, it sucks. But there are some awesome things to talk about this week. Thank God. Kyle Flanagan got suspended last night for that game on the weekend with the bite. I went to that game. I left when there was 10 minutes to go, and I realised I actually hate going to the football.
Yeah. It's the traffic getting in and out.
Yeah, like I don't mind the... That's the thing. I hate the suburban grounds. I really hate them. I don't want to go there anymore. I told my wife. I went with my wife. Yeah. And we were in like the Chairman's Lounge and stuff, so it was nice food and free drink and stuff, but I was like, I just hate it here.
Yeah. Even in the Chairman's Lounge.
Yeah, I just hate it here. So I'm happy to go to ANZ, or what's it called, Accor, Sydney football ground.
Allianz is good.
Yeah, I'm happy to go there, but I'm not going to suburban grounds ever again. I'm done.
Leichhardt?
No, I've only been to Leichhardt once, man. I was in a box. Like, actually, like a box. Yeah. It was so funny. It was a gift from, like, a radio station, like, 15 years ago. And then they gave us an esky for our drinks.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, this is bizarre, man. Yeah. So it was like being on a hill, but in a box.
In a box.
Yeah, so,
Leichhardt.
Yeah, man. So, like, I'm out. But Kyle Flanagan, so he's bitten Stephen Crichton's nose. I didn't know what was going on at the game. That was the other reason I didn't like it. And he's got, what did he get, 4 weeks last night?
4 weeks, rest of the regular season. Phil Rothfield at the Daily Telegraph, he's clearly got it in for the Bulldogs because he's got this feud with Phil Gould. Monday night, he was saying he thought Flanagan was going to get off, and Flanagan got 4 weeks the next night. So that comment really didn't age very well from Rothfield. Yeah. Anyway.
I thought he should have got suspended. I'm a Dragons fan. I thought he should have got suspended. Can't bite people.
Yeah.
Even if it's accidental, like we always talk about on this podcast, everything is accidental. You know, like there's the James Graham on Billy Slater one. That one was hardcore. Like that was back in the grand final, however many years ago. He like went at Billy Slater's ear like a dog. But even though the Kyle Flanagan one was, Stephen Crichton's head is all over his face and his nose slipped into his mouth. You have to get suspended. I don't know, 4 weeks is fine. It could have been any. There was a bite earlier this year or last year that was 3 weeks.
Jack Whiten got 3 weeks.
Similar thing though. He had his arm in his mouth, didn't he? The Jack Whiten one. I think it was sort of warranted 4 weeks with the fact that he didn't go looking for skin. I said it yesterday on something that he didn't go looking for his arm and maliciously do it. I suppose he had his nose in his mouth, but you got to get some sort of suspension and. He'll be a bit of a loss for them. He's been going all right, Flan,
Yeah, well, that was... it's been surprising. Like, he's been perfect, that perfect foil for Ben Hunt, you know? So it's been... It sucks. They got 4 rounds. They need to win 3 out of the 4 to make the finals. Yeah. And
still a good chance, eh? You would have thought that 12 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago.
Man, I tipped them for the spoon at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, he's done a good job. Shane Flanagan, obviously, with the roster that they got. You can see what they're building on.
Yeah,
in the next couple of years, if they can get... Who have they got next year signing?
Well, they just signed today, Valentine Holmes.
Sure.
They signed him today.
Yeah.
3-year deal, $2.5 million. Been released from the last year of his contract with the Cowboys.
Yeah, and Damien Cook.
He's earned some good coin, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's $830 a year. That's not bad for an outside bar.
So up until this year, apparently I read this morning, I don't know how much truth there is to it, Zach Lomax was the highest paid centre winger in the league on $850 at the Dragons.
That's the highest in the league for the outside back.
And then he's gone to Parramatta for a reported $650, and now Val Holmes is coming for $830. So and then that was what I was reading this morning. Val Holmes is now again the highest paid outside back in the league. I don't know how much truth there is to it. I was just reading comments and stuff this morning. But it's a bit of a weird... I don't know, like that's surely his last contract. How old is Val Holmes?
You have to be in his 30s.
Cut up now.
Interesting with Katoni Staggs. There's obviously a bit of talk, wasn't there, with the Roosters potentially, if not from high end. I saw it in the paper.
Yeah.
29, yeah.
A few clubs for Katoni. He had a big game on the weekend too.
Yeah, I would have preferred Dragons.
29.
Yeah, he's 29.
Only 29. Yeah,
he's just turned 29. Turned 29 in July.
So he was at the Sharks when they won, yeah?
He was, yeah. So he's reuniting with Shane Flanagan.
Was he fullback that year?
Oh, we'll look
No,
that
Ben
up.
Barber.
Ben Barber was,
Yeah. So he was a centre. And then they replaced Zach Lomax, their goal-kicking winger centre, with Val Holmes, the goal-kicking winger centre. So
it's a good pick up for them.
Yeah, well, with the loss of Zach Lomax, is obviously right now probably in the top 3 best Dragons players.
He's been killing it.
It's a bit. I just thought like it was that was a weird situation, right? So Val Holmes, like earlier this week, they said he was linking up with the Dragons, and Cowboys had given him a chance to given him the go look elsewhere kind of talk, and then he went and met with Flano, and apparently the Roosters were interested, and Roosters are interested in everyone whenever there's an off contract.
They say they are. Anyway.
Yeah, it's fully.
The media says it, and they are.
As soon as there's an off contract person, Roosters are apparently interested, according to the news. But then he went back to the Cowboys and told them actually he doesn't want to leave and can he see out his contract. So I guess he was told no. So he's gone to the Dragons, which sucks a bit. You know, he's been he was here. When did the Cowboys win?
2015. Yeah.
No, so he wasn't there for their win.
Nah. Who they then? Felt and who was there outside basketball?
Jonathan Thurston.
That's what you remember.
That field goal.
You can't forget Michael
Felt
Morgan.
scoring that try. Yeah.
Felt the try. Michael Morgan assist.
Yeah, sorry, Lachlan Coote at fullback, Felt and Winterstein on the wings, O'Neill and Lynette in the centre.
Kane Lynette, he was good for that.
Yeah, man.
Justin O'Neill too, yeah, that's right. Cootie, he killed him there, didn't he, Cootie?
Yeah.
That season.
I don't know what will happen next year now. So Damien Cook is the other signing. They have...
Yeah.
It seems like Flano's signed up.
And how old is he, Cookie? He'd be
31, I think.
He's getting on, isn't he, Cookie? He'd be good for them.
33.
33.
Is he?
Yeah. So, they got, what's his name?
Because he debuted late, didn't he, Damien Cook?
Yeah.
He was at the Dogs.
Might have been 25,
2015, maybe, the Dogs.
Was it that
no. Started at the Dragons in 2013, was at the Dogs in 14 and 15, then joined the Rabbitohs in 16, and going to the Dragons next year.
Oh, back to where it all started.
Yeah.
But they got little there. I don't know why they signed Damien Cook either. But who knows? Like, obviously, Shane Flanagan's the Dragons' god now.
Yeah. Sure, he's got plans.
Your god.
Yeah, exactly. But there's that. So yes. On Kyle Flanagan, Stephen Crichton, like I was saying before we started, like I've accidentally bitten people in jiu-jitsu. You know,
Is this happening today?
No, don't worry. There's no bites, man. It's only happened to me like 5-6 times a week. No, it doesn't happen very often. But it's a thing where someone's rubbing something in your face. And what I noticed was the Bulldogs and Penrith, all their players use their head a lot in tackles, and that's one of the things in wrestling. Actually, is your head is a wedge. You know, to get people to get more control. And it's keeping players down. It's one of the things they're doing. And I reckon that'll be the next crackdown. People rubbing their head on other players' heads while they're down on the ground. And then I saw, like, somebody put together a TikTok, obviously, straight after that game where it was, like, the Bulldogs, like, every tackle are using their head to wedge the opposing players' heads down, rubbing their head all over the opposing player, the person they're tackling. So it's fully comes from them going to Gracie Hamada at, where is it? Smeaton Green, Rob Whittaker's gym. That's where they train wrestling out of.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Panthers and Bulldogs both train out of there.
Obviously, Serraldo been out there before.
Yeah.
2 best defensive teams in the league.
Yeah.
Everybody should go there.
Yeah, 100%. He makes good business out there.
Yeah. So that's like a wrestling thing, and you're seeing it more and more and more, and especially the Panthers and the Bulldogs are doing it a lot, using their head as a wedge, and I do it all the time in jiu-jitsu. in wrestling and stand up, use my head to get people over. That's the key to the double leg, is to grab the legs and then use your head to push them over.
Yeah, right.
And then use my head to rub it in their face.
Don't
yeah, that's why I have it, man. Yeah, so there's that.
And then pretty good ears for jiu-jitsu. Most of the ears are.
No, so the thing with the cauliflower ear is, I always say, like, I have a very small one. You have to look at both my ears to see it. Right, so you look at that one, doesn't have the bump, and this one has the bump there. You only get a cauliflower if something bad happens, and I'm too good at jiu-jitsu.
If you get the inflammation.
Yeah, well, somebody has to catch you in a triangle or...
Oh, so it's not just from rub.
Yeah, well, so what will happen is, the normal way you get cauliflower in jiu-jitsu is someone will have you in a triangle or a rear naked choke or something, and you pull your head out, the guillotine, and it'll cause the cracking of the ear, and then the blood rushes in. Yeah, right. And I'm just so good that nobody ever catches me. That's why I don't have cauliflower. That's probably why. Seriously. No.
So Conor McGregor's no good.
Yeah, that's it. Khabib Nurmagomedov, no good, man. Yeah. I'm just that good that nobody can ever... But man, I got this cauliflower once. It hurt so much. Couldn't sleep for days. And I swore, like, I'll never do it and it'll never happen to me again. And so every time somebody goes for a try, I perfected my triangle defense. That's a thing. Like, I've only been caught in one triangle in like the last 6 years. Now all the guys at my gym that see this are going to be triangling me every day.
Yeah. Hope it's not today.
Yeah, no. Moving on to Latrell Mitchell, obviously, I saw you and Tolkani discuss this. It's gone viral, man.
Has it?
Yeah. It's getting everywhere. They put it in the news and everything.
It was in the paper.
Yeah, like yours and Tom's.
Yeah, I saw an article.
In the Telegraph.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, good thing.
Yeah, there was an article on foxsports.com.au quoting you. Yeah. Strong quotes against whoever leaked this photo of Latrell Mitchell.
Well, the reason me and Toddy, when I was vocal about it yesterday, was I've done plenty of bad things outside and inside a house. Depends which way you look at it. I've dabbled with the good and the bad, and I can openly say that. I'm not ashamed. I'll put my hand up. So I don't judge someone for doing what they want to do. I'm not saying it's right, however you want to look at it, but I don't judge someone for what they want to do. But as a player, as an ex-player, I'm just so pissed off with these people that get away with filming things and then sending them on. It's a crime. It's a crime. They've got this thing around revenge porn, which is clearly, obviously, around the sexuality stuff and interaction with photos, and then people go to jail for that. All of a sudden now there's this blackmailing of taking photos privately and then sending it on. It should be. I don't know if there is a law. You might know more about it.
No, so it's
just a shit look.
It is. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's something I'm like really vocal about. People taking. I don't care what players do, to be honest. Like, I don't care what they do, if they're in a private residence, if they're even with stuff like the shit that happens outside. I don't think this whole bringing the game into disrepute actually pisses me off a lot. For all sports, seriously, I hate the way they're.
That's interesting coming from
like a fan,
from someone outside as a player, hearing that, because as a player, I think there is sponsorships and there is.
Yeah, so sponsorships. So
I've made mistakes. I take responsibility because I know I've done the wrong thing as far as a professional.
Yeah,
and I think most of the players that have done the wrong thing, you own that and you say, "Listen, I've done the wrong thing as a professional," because it can be a bad look to an extent, but it's interesting hearing it from
when you're talking
someone
about
outside a player saying that.
That your club, okay, I think I support a club's decision to sanction or basically dictate a player's behaviour with what you're not allowed to do because of the stuff like sponsorship. But I don't like when the NRL, AFL, A-League, whatever, have this, like, they're the moral arbiters of the world where they say, like, what is good and bad. And they think they can control a player. Things like whoever it was, Andrew Abdo going and meeting with Latrell Mitchell earlier this year and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. I don't think the NRL should be involved in stuff like that. Club, yeah. So Souths have a problem. Latrell's at South, yeah. Souths have a problem with it. It's up to Souths. And man, I hate, like you said.
But at the end of the day, sorry to cut you off, but I think it is up to Souths.
Yeah.
As in, because it gets hype and talk because the media grab hold of it. But I don't think that. Do you think that affects the club's still choice? Like, everyone talks, but their meetings and their decisions are going to be what they think.
Yeah, well, that's what I think.
Or you reckon it's overpowered by the NRL?
Yeah, because the NRL can come in and suspend Latrell Mitchell if they want to. You know, they did to, it was years and years ago, they did to Brett Stewart. You know, like Manly wasn't going to do anything. They went on a phone conference or whatever it was reported at the time with the NRL and said, look, we're not going to punish Brett, like he's innocent until proven guilty and all that kind of thing. And then the NRL said, no, too bad, suspended for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it ended up he was like innocent. Like that's the thing. I think I hate the way the NRL and AFL and sporting organisations step into this, and I think it's up to the clubs because the NRL doesn't get sponsored by someone or their sponsorships torn up because Latrell Mitchell is photographed in a private residence by some rando who knows who did it, and we'll never know who did it.
That's why it's a criminal act.
And that's
doing
the thing,
someone
right?
in a private house.
Well, he tried to sell it too.
What shits me is that they, you know, even with Buzz there, you know, he's hesitant to name the person.
No, they should name him.
Like they're on Fox the other night and they were saying, "Oh, I know the person, we're going to name him."
Yeah.
Why do we protect the criminal, but we first to put out the sportsman?
I totally agree.
So that's what pisses me off.
It's total bullcrap. I hate the way people do it. I hate it whenever any random person films a player, takes a photo of a player, and then sells it to the media, and the media takes it and runs with it and then says, oh, we've got to protect our sources or whatever. But it should be illegal. If I take a photo of you now doing whatever, like, say you went to the bathroom and I just took a photo of you going to the toilet and then published it on the internet. Is it illegal? Like, it's, you know, you're not... Yeah. It's not my right. It's your right. And whatever Latrell Mitchell or any football player or any rugby league player...
It'd be weird if you filmed me in the toilet. More than anything, it'd just be weird.
My photo. It was a Sonny Bill and Candice Falzone, you know. Somebody took a photo of them and sold it to the media. They weren't going to the toilet.
The only way to stop it is, like you said, just to come down from a criminal point of view, or a law point of view, like they have with the revenge porn one. They need to have some sort of rule where it's a criminal act if someone does that against someone's privacy. I don't know what is the rules in.
Well, there are none. That's the problem with it, right? Because
someone can't walk along a beach and take a photo of something.
If you're in a public place, all right, you're
allowed. So what about private places? If I went into a house party or a restaurant and filmed someone play on?
Yeah. Well, a restaurant is public, right? So if you're in a public place, you're allowed to be photographed and stuff like that. No one's allowed to make money from your likeness. So you're Mitchell Pearce, you're famous. If you were out on the street corner and someone took a photo and then, like, you know, promoted their brand with it, like say you were standing in front of a TAB sign and then TAB took a photo and used your likeness, that's illegal to make money. But everything else is basically free for all. They have Australia has really archaic digital laws. They really do, and they never update them. And things like that where they did the revenge porn one. But the revenge porn one should have encompassed everything. Because if you enter my house, unless I explicitly say to you, I'm filming you and I'm going to film you. It's because, you know, you go places, you have to have signs. As a public, like here, we have cameras here for nighttime only. If we wanted to ever use those or share them or anything, we have to have signs up saying you're being filmed. It's a legal requirement. But if you enter my house... and I don't explicitly say to you, hey, sign this waiver that I'm allowed to take photos of you. Like, why am I allowed to just publish your photo on the internet? It's total bullshit. And why can people buy it? That's the other thing. Like, surely it's the purchase of illegally obtained goods. Surely it's illegal. If I tried to sell a kilo of cocaine to newspapers, we'd both get in trouble. Yeah. I hate it, man.
Not in Portugal.
Everything's legal in Portugal, baby. We're all moving there just so we can get on the coke.
I mean, yeah.
I'm sober.
As you mentioned, there should be repercussions for whoever's leaked the photo, absolutely. I mean, that having been said, though, it's still not a good look for Souths, is it? I mean, third last on the ladder this year. That was after they had a fade out last year. There were some dramas around Latrell last year as well.
The sack their coach this year.
Him and the Rabbitohs really don't need this at this stage. I wouldn't have thought.
That's like from the we've said that like from a. It's not a good look all around, and you know, South. Yeah, it's just one of those seasons that just keeps becoming negative for them. I've once again I don't like being a hypocrite. I've been in those situations before. From my advice to Latrell or to clubs in that situation, you got to clean your life up and do the right thing, and then good things happen. We all know that. It's just the situation. That's not sitting on a high horse. That's just advice from a flawed human that, you know, when things aren't flowing for you and you're attracting that sort of stuff, you just got to get clean and get focused. That's how you turn the tides around, don't you? So I'm sure. Yeah. Well, my thoughts are with him as well. Like, it'd be a horrible time. I've been there 100 times, and you wake up on a Sunday and you go, oh, fuck.
Yeah, apparently that's
not a good feeling.
I read this morning that literally happened. Like, he just woke up in the morning and, like, hadn't had phone calls, hadn't been contacted by anyone, and just it was the news. That's how Latrell found out.
And you yourself, Mitch, I mean, obviously there's always going to be a lot of scrutiny on someone as high profile as you, but did you feel that when you retired, I mean, obviously there's not going to be as much scrutiny on you now as a retired player as there was when you were playing. Did you feel like a real sense of relief once you'd retired? You felt as though, like, the pressure valve is, no, not entirely, but it's released to a degree, and that obviously the spotlight's not on you as much as when you're a current player?
Yeah, 100%. But at the same time, like, you take the big money and you're playing sport. It's all part of it. So I'm never someone that, like I said, I don't like people that are negative about, you know, we're quick to take and we reap the rewards of the good life out of footy. So there's also a responsibility there, and any mistakes I've made, I own my mistake, because I know that they were selfish acts at times as well. So you got to own what you do.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Yeah, but like I said, none of us are perfect. And in a private place, what someone wants to do is their own decision. And why I've been vocal that these dogs that film people and release it and try and make money out of it, it's a low act, and they need to be named and shamed.
Yeah, I think so. This is the kind of thing where you go, like, who is Latrell Mitchell, or anyone that it happens to? Because you use Latrell Mitchell now because it's today, and Latrell Mitchell's only the latest one. But yeah, it's unfortunate that these guys have to be careful about who they let into their lives, actually, because you don't know, like, who's going to take a photo. How do you know who's going to take a photo and sell it to the media? And Latrell Mitchell is just the latest one because the white powder thing happens all the time, actually. You know, he's not the first drug scandal this year. Even there was the Twitch stream earlier the year where everyone was saying the Penrith players were off their chops on the Twitch stream. They were doing a giveaway, and they were like, "What the hell are you talking about? We're just excited."
Yeah.
And then there was like Brandon Smith last year, Valentine's Holmes last year. Brandon Smith might have been the year before. Valentine Holmes the year before, and now Latrell Mitchell. These are cases where it's understood, I guess, that some rugby league players take drugs, okay, in their downtime. No different to some rugby league players drink alcohol. Some rugby league players do nothing. And it's their right as a civilian, and it's also their right to not have their photo taken when they're doing anything. I really like it's their right. I'm only joking about going to Portugal. but like I don't care. Like I said at the beginning, I don't care. It's not even, you know, my business actually that Latrell Mitchell is if it's at his house, or what if it's at his house and someone's taken photos of him, you know? Like, that's someone who's invited into his home and they're taking photos of him for the purpose of...
Oh, yeah, I'd love to know what the rules are.
Yeah,
I don't know what like you said, the revenge porn one before. I'd love to know whether it was sport or business or media. There'd have to be some sort of... If there's not a rule, there has to be. And why is there not a rule for that? Is it an interesting one?
Yeah, so Australia's laws are...
Overseas, is there rules around that?
Well, there is in different countries. And then this is the thing, right? So according to the government, e-safety, you have to have consent to share a photo or video or someone... genuine agreement to take part in an activity, or for a specific thing to happen, you should always ask for consent before sharing a photo or video. You're supposed to ask consent, but there's no real punishment for it. Really. But then there's things like, so they have law, like they're always to protect specific things, right? So they have the cyberbullying laws that they pass to protect kids from being cyberbullied, because that's horrible. I know a couple of kids who have been cyberbullied.
Yeah.
They have the revenge porn one.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you see a woman out in public, you're not allowed to take a photo of her. So it's you sort of go, well, why shouldn't the same apply to something like that?
No punishment, though. That's the problem with it. There's no punishment. So if I take a photo of a random person, right? It happens in the gyms and stuff all the time. You should check out what's his name, Joey Swoll, on the internet. He calls it out.
Yeah.
You know, people take photos of and videos of people in the gym and then share them on the internet, and nothing ever happens because they're in a public place, right? All the police can actually do is make you delete it. There's no punishment.
Yeah.
There should be a punishment. And that's why, like, the guy, it's really funny. Like,
it's a hard one, though, because if you say you're a tourist taking a photo of the Harbour Bridge and there's people there, for a wide range, what are they going to say? You can't take any photos?
That's public place.
Someone can just say, I was taking a photo of the weights machine.
That's public place, okay? But then you're sharing...
that's right.
You're sharing...
I can understand that.
So the cyberbullying and sharing is based around your share. So if I'm taking a photo of the weights machine, right, and someone said... Because that also happens. You can also watch videos of that on the internet. Like, someone's just taking a photo of something else at the gym, and then someone will walk up and go, did you just take a photo of me?
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, bro, I was taking a photo of the weight machine. But if that person then goes out and shares it on the internet and highlights the person and says, like, look at this idiot doing something stupid, then that's their intent is clear. That's also, like, there's cyberbullying. The thing with this one is, this guy didn't share it on the internet. Whoever took the photo, he sold it to the media. So how come the media is allowed to share it? Like, this is they don't have laws against it. That's like, so there should be, though. I really think there should be.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate it so much. Like, it frustrates the crap out of me. And people you go on the internet and you read people's things, it's like, they say the kind of thing like, it's their cost for being famous. Like, it's their fault for being famous. It's not their fault for being famous, actually. Because laws and legislation is there to protect everyone.
Think about it being in America with the paparazzi. They do it, don't they?
Yeah, and they do setups and stuff like that.
Yeah,
edit it.
So it's all legal with that. That's the worst. That's the biggest corruption, isn't it? That one over there.
They're terrible.
They just... But yeah, it's a disappointing thing, isn't it? It doesn't help anyone. It breaks trust, and you've got a lot of other rules in the world that I reckon this one should... Not like anyone's going to listen to us, but...
then, I think the main reason they don't do anything really, like, it's just occurring to me and stuff, but it's because it only happens to famous people. And there is, like, in society, this stupid, idiotic belief that because you're famous, you kind of deserve it. Like, it's the cost of being famous, right? Latrell Mitchell is famous, so this is his cost. We're allowed to take photos of him. But if I took a photo, like, you know... Me and Dan went into the bathroom and racked up. All right, we'll go. I'm not going to take photos of you peeing. And I took photos of Dan.
I've never done it, by the way. I've never taken drugs.
I peer pressured him into the bathroom and I took photos of him and then shared them on the internet. Dan can report that to the police and stuff like that, like if he wants, and they'll come and make me delete the photo. He can report it to Instagram and they'll come and make me delete the photo. But I can't sell that to the news.
Yeah.
You know, because the news isn't going to care. They're just going to be like, why the hell do we care? I'm giving you $0 for that, dude.
The business gets big, maybe.
Yeah. We're going to get some photos.
Don't get too cocky.
Yeah. Oh, God, I better go delete my WhatsApp chats.
And it's hard for someone like Latrell to say to people who... Like, you might think, oh, well, these players should just tell people coming into their house, oh, well, don't bring your mobile phones in. But it's a hard conversation to have, because then people will say, oh, what, don't you trust me, mate?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'd be like, no, I don't trust you. That's it.
Well, do clubs need to tell players, if you're having people over, tell them not to bring their mobile phones in, leave it in a box on the balcony outside.
These are the things that happen,
get it when you go.
They have these clubs need to tell players not to go out. You know, because there was the whole thing like earlier in the year where Latrell got... no, it was when Paul Gallen got... somebody approached Paul Gallen last year or whatever and started a blue with him. And MG was on the radio saying everyone should just not go out. And I don't think that's a fair... Like, there are certain things in life that are just facts of life, and it doesn't matter if you're famous or not famous, you should be allowed to do them. They're like fundamental human rights. Going to the pub and not having some idiot walk up to you and start a fight. Going to someone's house and not having your photo taken and shared. They're fundamental human rights. You know, like they're just these things that are in society. What the cost of being famous is, you have pressure to be good and represent your club so you don't lose sponsors and stuff like that. The cost of being famous is not that it's all right for dudes to take photos of you in secret and then sell them to the media. I don't care what anyone says. That's not it. I'm not famous. I am in the BJJ community. Hi, BJJ community. Come with me to a competition.
Some rough diamonds in that one.
And that's the thing. I mean, NRL players are well paid, but I mean, what does the CEO of Macquarie Bank get paid? What, $10 million a year or something? And they don't have that.
That's for sure on Coke.
That's the thing. I mean, they get well paid as well, and they're not under the same.
Yeah,
scrutiny.
Money shouldn't come into it. at all. The value of how much you get paid shouldn't come into it. You're not famous because you're rich. There are rich people who aren't famous. Yeah. You see news articles about them every year. Like these are there was that tennis player that no one knew was a billionaire. She was at. Was it
Pagula?
She was
Navarro maybe. Navarro.
What was the last? I think it was the French Open, right?
Yeah, I think it's Navarro.
Yeah, she's like a billionaire, and no one knew who she was until she went and played tennis, and now she's famous.
Yeah.
So the value of your money is not equal to fame. And again, it's the same thing. Like if before she was a tennis player, someone took a photo of her with some white powder in front of her and tried to sell it to the newspaper, no one would care. Now that she plays tennis and someone takes a photo of her and sells it to the newspaper will buy it. That is hypocrisy and ridiculous. I think, honestly, I feel very strongly about it. It's absolutely stupid. I totally agree with you. They should name the people. They should fully name the people. And that person would never, ever... Because even, apparently Latrell doesn't know. So that means there was lots of people there. And that means all the people there don't know as well. Mm. You know? So if there's 5 dudes in your house and one idiot takes a photo and shares it, you now have to ban all 5 of those people. Because all 5 of them are going to go, it wasn't me.
I'm sure they'll find out who it is, but I hope they do anyway.
Yeah, me too. That's guys that deserves... Seriously, they should be laws against it. Yeah, so moving right along. The internet is one of my things, my beliefs about the internet. I reckon everyone should have to have a license to use the internet, you should have to just sit for a license and be monitored. Yeah. Yeah, and if you want to have social media, definitely. Social media should have to upload your driver's license.
It's a bit spooky, imagine watching everyone's searches on Instagram. Oh, no.
That's right. I've got to clear my WhatsApp.
That'd be a good TV show, actually.
I really got to clear my WhatsApp.
Tap it into everyone's Google searches. There'll be some surprises, I reckon.
Yeah, man. Seriously.
That'd be a good TV show.
You know, in sitcoms where it'll be like, I'm dying, make sure you go home and clear my browser history. I need someone to delete my WhatsApp.
There's a lot of clearing of browser history, I would have thought.
Delete my WhatsApp. It's so bad. But yeah, so the Bulldogs had a good win on the weekend. Mm-hmm. Terrible win on the weekend. And now, who they got this week?
The Dolphins. They're taking a home game to Bundaberg against the Dolphins.
Yeah, so the Dolphins are 8th. It's heaps funny because the Bulldogs played the 8th place team last week, and now they're playing the 8th place team this week. And so their Bulldogs' destiny right now is to fundamentally alter the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, right.
But they got a hard run home, yeah. They got a whole bunch of home games. Bundaberg is not home, but
I don't think the run's too.
No, they had the easy. Yeah, they have a super easy one. They're definitely gonna make
Dolphins, Warriors, Manly, and the Cowboys.
So they got 4 teams that you don't know who's going to turn up on the weekend.
I see it. Warriors, the Dolphins. Yeah, the defence of the Dogs at the moment, top 2 in defence, is a positive. I think I was only saying to someone yesterday, I think it's one of those teams. 2010, we made the grand final at the Roosters. I think we finished.
Awesome.
I think we finished 8th. Yeah, well, you beat us, but I think we finished 8th that season, or maybe 6th. I can't remember what it was, but we were at the lower part of the ladder. Yeah. We had about 8 or 9 wins going into the finals, and I think there's something mentally in that. A benefit. 6 was it? There's a mental benefit in that freedom that you can have when you're not expected to win.
Yeah.
As we know in plenty of sports, it happens. But in that year, I remember we just had so much confidence because playing against all the sides besides Dragons, we pulled our pants down in the end. But the other sides we played against, we had that much confidence because all the pressure was on them. They were sides that are up the top of the ladder, and there's a tightness as an athlete that, as you see in all sports, there's a tightness when that pressure can do to you, and there's a freedom and a looseness that can come when you're the underdog. And the fact that they've got the top 2 in defence, that can go with anyone. Probably their roster maybe is a little bit underdone, that's the honest truth. So how they go against the big teams in the finals. But if a big team comes in, a Roosters, Melbourne, Penrith, and they're a bit tight and not dealing with the situation how they want to, they're playing a little bit looser and a few errors. I could see the Dogs going really deep into it.
Yeah.
And there's something about this with Cameron Ciraldo. He's just got something about him, mate. With the way connected this group in a short period of time, but I just feel like he's wise, isn't he? He's wise and cunning as a coach. You can tell he's just got something about him that the boys follow him, and I just reckon he's been involved in grand finals with Penrith. He probably know how to play the final series. I just think there's a few curveballs up their sleeve for them.
Well,
I'm excited to see how they play it because I love. They're intriguing, aren't they? They're an intriguing team, and their development's been rapid. And I think with his coaching, I can see them pulling someone's pants down in at least the first round of the semis.
I think one of the things I noticed in that Dragons game, I was actually like telling my wife at the time, Dragons have this set play that they kept running where it was Eisenhuth that hit that ball up. They'd go to Eisenhuth would pass to Hunt, and then Sloan would be circling around the back. And they did it 3 times in a row. Yeah. And that was when Burton got that intercept try. He covered that pass from Hunt to Sloan.
Yeah.
And I was saying to my wife before he did it, like, they keep playing the same play. Bulldogs are going to smash him on it. And it was heaps good. Like, I was like, that's so good, because that was like, Burton read the play, knew what was going to happen, was able to take that intercept. And that's the kind of thing I think the Dogs can do. Like, they've got some players in their team that can do that.
Moments.
Yeah, like those little moments where they go, like, they're playing the same play again, I know exactly what's going to happen, and then bang, I'll get that intercept. And it was funny the next time.
Because they trust the system.
Yeah, exactly. But it was for the next time the Dragons went for it, it was heaps funny. And when Eisenhuth Hunt, and like 4 of the Dogs rushed to take the intercept, and then Hunt ran the ball.
But that's when you know when your defence is humming, right?
Yeah.
When your system's good, you can come out of the system and come up with moments, can't you? You know, you see intercepts more often in the good sides because the trust on the guy on the inside, you can almost, you can bluff a bit, can't you? You know, when you're in a really good system and you're confident in the players around you, you start bluffing. You know, you trust this guy will make up the extra metre for you, and you know your centre's going to wedge at the right time, and you start toying with the attack.
Yeah, it was so good.
At you. And that's that layers that he's built, hasn't he? Came into the Dogs, took over from Penrith. Took over the Dogs' job there, and he's built it and built it and built it, and they're getting the rewards.
Of all the teams, that they seem to have benefited the most from Penrith needing to offload players due to salary cap pressure with Kickow, Burton, and Crichton. And then they've gone and bought a bunch of players who can play multiple positions. Your players like Kurt Mann, Jamin Salmon, Connor Tracy can play well anywhere in the outside backs, going gangbusters at fullback this year.
Yeah. Kurt Mann I think has been huge, and Jason Taylor, I said the other day. Jason Taylor's the assistant coach. I had him at the Roosters. Learn a hell of a lot off him, but he's very, very good at tidying up attack. You know, you watch the way they run their plays, the job that Kurt Mann's doing there in the middle as that link man. JT's really, really good at giving everyone a specific role, running the right lines. That sounds like maybe basics for a lot of people, but it's hard to implement in some teams. Only the good coaches can get everyone on the same page, and he's very good at that, JT. So I think he's played a big part in their attack, and they've used their smaller pack really well. Yeah,
they had the worst defensive record in the comp last year, finished 3rd last. Now they got the 2nd best defence in the league. They're only conceding 16.35 points a game. Bronson Cherry's got 5 tries in his last 5 games. Yeah. You just really feel like they're building to something, that they're improving every week. You feel like that they're timing their run here.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's going to hold them back, from my opinion, in those big games is just pure roster talent. Like, they've got plenty of good players. I just think man for man, Melbourne, Penrith, Roosters, I just think that both teams turn up to their best. I think they've just got a little bit more star power.
Do you think, I mean, Toby Sexton's going well at halfback, but do you think in those big games that might hurt them a bit, coming up against your Clearys and your Hugheses, players like that as well?
Well, if both teams are playing their best footy, I think it could hurt them, clearly, because they're just more experienced and they're better players at the moment. But, as we just said before, footy's not always... just because you've got the good roster and you're on top of the ladder doesn't mean you always have the perfect game. I've been in those situations. Another example, in 2014 we came in, we were minor premiers, we won about 8 in a row. We came up against Penrith. We had won that first semi, we got the week off. We lost to Penrith. We had the best roster, we had the best year. Penrith pulled our pants down, similar position to what the Dogs are in, because we overplayed a little bit and we had a heap of errors. We just probably didn't turn up with the perfect mindset. So So yeah, like I could still see Sexton and them and the rest of the team there stepping up if they have if everything falls into place for them on the back of their defence. You can see them pulling those teams' pants down for sure.
Yeah, I think in the top 8 right now, Storm, Panthers, and Roosters are different to the rest. Yeah, and then you got Sharks, Bulldogs, Sea Eagles, Cowboys, and Dolphins. And out of those, I reckon the Bulldogs are the best team out of those 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, sports bet odds are there.
Manly's coming home strong.
Yeah.
The sports bet premiership odds are there. We've probably got premiership odds on SmartB, don't we? But the Storm, the Panthers are the favourites at $2.60. Storm and the Roosters at $4.20. Bulldogs now into 4th favourites at $12. With the Sharks at $15.
Yeah, I just think
as the 5th favourites.
Like
now.
Manly's going pretty good.
What's the Knights roster on the way home?
Oh god, their
draw.
They're gone, you reckon?
Yeah. I reckon
they won't make the 8.
They're only 1 win out of the 8 at the moment.
Yeah, I was just looking; they're not too far out.
Yeah, but I just think they won't make it. I think the
Rabbit.
There we go.
Yeah, Sharks, Rabbitohs, Titans, Dolphins.
So they've got a bunch of the Knights are too inconsistent. And they've got a bunch of teams that are, except for the Rabbitohs, are a coin flip. Yeah. You know, Titans could put 60 on them, or Titans could get 60 put on them. It's too much relying on that coin flip.
Titan Dragon this week. 300 Kieran Foran.
Yeah. It is,
Yeah, mate of yours.
Mate of mine, yeah. So I'm going to get down there and watch that.
Yeah, awesome.
What a career he's had.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be the first player to play his 300th game in Titans colours as well, Kieran Foran. Won that premiership with Manly back in 2011.
Yeah, he's just been a super player. And what he's done, the resilience he's shown, obviously there's probably times there when he went through a few off-field dramas and setbacks, he probably wanted to give up. But to play 300 games, the way how tough he's played, I don't think anyone's played as tough as a half. No. Thurston was... Like, they've all been pretty tough. Thurston was obviously going to the line nearly as tough as Kieran, but I reckon, you know, from an early age he was relentless with his ability to go to the line and how physically he plays with the ball and without the ball. He's been so hard.
He's had some big injuries through his career.
Yeah, and he debuted
in big ones.
He debuted in 2009, so that's a 15-year career for someone who's had a lot of injuries. Yeah. He's done well to hang in there for this long.
He would have how many games he would have played if he hadn't have had. I just remember him being out for extended periods quite a few times in his career. He was always my favourite Manly player. I loved him. Like, it was so good. Like how strong he was in defence. Like literally just strong ragdolling players.
Yeah. Well, Kieran started off as a centre sort of lock.
Oh really?
So in the juniors he was playing sort of centre lock. Always played a little bit of 5'8", but he wasn't like he'd say himself. He wasn't like a natural half. He always had that great ability to. His running game was always there. He was always a great defender, as you said. He was a really good lock as a kid.
So how far do you go back with him? When did you first sort of come into contact with Kieran?
Yeah, I met Kieran when we were sort of about 10 or 11. They came over from New Zealand and then, played juniors together. And so him and his brother. Kieran's brother played a few first grade games at, I think Snorky played at Manly in Melbourne.
Yeah.
He was a really good player. So me and his brother were more in the halves. We both trained schoolboys together. Kieran was always a bit younger. He's a year or two younger, but a couple of years at school. It was pretty cool. We always sort of dreamed of playing first grade together, and then did everything together as kids, and then obviously to have the careers we've had together and play against each other plenty of times. It's just been really special. Dreams come true.
Sometimes. My dream is to be a billionaire. When's that going to come true? No, I loved him, man. He went over to New Zealand for a while. Yeah, that was when he played not a lot of games in the time he was there.
He played with Manly, Parramatta, the Warriors, the Bulldogs, back to Manly and the Titans.
Bulldogs, he had some injuries too, right?
Yeah, he did too.
And he
played well there, though. He did. He played well in a team that was struggling when he was there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always so good. And he played for New Zealand, right? Yeah.
Captain New Zealand, I think.
Yeah.
I think he captained.
Yeah, 30 games for New Zealand, 30 test matches.
And I believe he...
30 test matches?
Yeah.
He might have been one of those ones that beat Australia too.
Yeah, I think he did. The last one.
Yeah,
with Madge.
Yeah.
Pacific Championship final last year. They beat Australia 30-0 in the final. I'm going to look up.
Yeah, he was off the.
If he was in that team, pretty sure he was, but I'm going to double check that.
I think.
So we'll go to Pacific Championships. Here we go.
New Zealand, 2023 played.
Yeah, he was hooker in that team that beat Australia 30-0 in the Pacific Championship final, yeah.
Ugh, that was a nightmare.
Yeah, that was bad.
All the people I know from New Zealand were fully
And Madge came out of it well, though, beating Australia 30-0 in a tournament final.
Into an Origin series?
Yeah, and we're winning a decider in Brisbane. His stocks are at an all-time high, I would have thought.
What's Madge won? Series, Kiwis, and then also Grand Final.
Yeah, won 2014 Premiership with the Rabbitohs.
And his things are, when he wins, the stuff he's won has always been like against the grain. You know, like South's breaking the premiership.
Yeah.
And then winning with New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because if New Zealand ever win anything.
Even Origin first series as coach.
Origin
decider up there.
Decider.
Yeah, it's only happened, 3 times?
Yeah.
Impressive dude.
Yeah, when he's up against the wall. But, I don't know, why did you leave Souths?
Oh, I think they
took over after that.
They just started having poor results, the Rabbitohs, and... But that happens with most coaches.
Tigers,
yeah, we went to the Tigers and no one can do well at the Tigers.
Oh.
Poor old Tigers,
no one can do well there. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about the Roosters. All right, so it's come out today. They got around $3 million in their salary cap left.
Yes. Suwali on 750, Kiri on 900, JWH on 550, Manu on 750. That's a total of $2.95 million that are being freed up at the end of the year. And talk from James Hooper of Fox League that conversations had taken place to get Mitchell Moses to the Roosters. And who better to talk to about this subject, given that the Eels wanted you to replace him when he was injured earlier in the year?
It's a good laugh, isn't it? That's hilarious. I wish I could say it was a PR stunt from me. It actually wasn't. I didn't even make it up. Could have easily, but I didn't. Sidetrack me. What's the?
Moses being linked to the Roosters with all that cash.
Mate, I don't know. Obviously, I'm working there a bit doing the academy, but I'm not that important. I go in and out. I've no idea what's doing there with the recruitment. As I just said, I'm in and out. Yeah. But look, mate, Mitch Moses. I think any club would want him, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But with his,
he just won Origin.
Yeah. You're talking about Madge's stocks being at an all-time high. Well, his stocks are at an all-time high after that Origin series.
There's a cash in.
They've only signed Chad Townsend so far, and they've re-signed Nat Butcher, Lindsay Collins, Angus Crichton. That was a weird one. Terrell May, Junior Polgar, Billy Smith, Santa Smith, Daniel Tupu. They're just re-signing everyone.
You'd think they wouldn't have spent much on Townsend either, would you?
No, he's gone there to play reserve grade.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if what players the club recruits, because obviously, like you just said, those players that the club's losing obviously are going to be big holes, and as we know, it's personalities as much as what players do on the field. With their abilities, that personality in the change rooms and the dressing rooms that have a big effect on the team, and so it's obviously Jared more than anyone. He's a huge loss. Joey Manu, all of them, but Jared's influence, leadership. He's one of the old school still. Just the ultimate leader. So it's a big gap there.
Guy as well,
yeah, he's there now. What's his first name?
I don't know.
Mark
Noah Kanatawazi. I hope I got that right.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
He was outstanding in the World Cup for Australia.
Yeah.
Played sevens too, I think. Did he play sevens?
Yeah.
He played Aussie sevens in the World Cup and the Olympics recently.
That's the thing. They've got so much money to spend for next year, and they haven't spent it. The Roosters. Who's off contract for them to buy?
Yeah, well, they're going to have to spend it because of that salary cap ceiling where you got to spend 95% of your cap every year. Yeah. So you're not allowed to have more than 5% of your salary cap free. There's a salary cap ceiling.
Since the NRL increased the grant to higher than the salary cap.
I don't think I like that. I think it's up to a club.
So the salary cap's now, 11 million, and the NRL pays each club 12 million or something like that.
Yeah, right.
So the NRL's like, you can't say you don't have enough money to spend.
That's the salary cap.
Money.
Yeah.
So the base salary cap is 11.25 million.
What's the minimum you can pay? So say you're a rep player, what's the minimum they can say to, flex the rules?
Well, it's so weird,
clubs to say they sign an Origin
weird.
player, you can't say someone's on 400. What's the minimum?
There's I don't know what the percentage
for a rep
is.
player or something?
No, there's a
because you're not going to be able to sign an Origin player on minimum wage.
I remember there was talk with Jack Whiten when he went to South, and I was just curious what the minimum.
It's a percentage based
is.
on their previous club salary or something like that. That was what was discussed in Jack Whiten. They wanted to pay him too much less than what his previous contract was, and so they weren't allowed.
Okay.
It's all that stuff's really it seems a bit all over the shop as well. Because you remember, I don't know about now, there hasn't been one in a while, but there was the reports that Darren Lockyer was on like 200 grand at the Broncos. And
wow.
So it was like Souths wanted to sign Israel Folau or something like that, and they offered him a certain amount of money when he was coming back, and the NRL said, "No, that's not enough." And so that's why he ended up signing. Who did he sign with for Brisbane or something?
Must be a minimum.
Yeah, so it's like there's a percentage.
It would have gone up again now,
and
it
depends on the club as well. Because the NRL is so there's some biases there that it seems like club and player.
Yeah.
Depending on the club and player whether they'll allow it. Because Darren Lockyer was on 200 grand.
That's the best.
Broncos
there's one stumbling block Hooper pointed out the other night as well is that Mitch Moses is managed by his cousin Isaac, and Nick Politis has blacklisted Isaac. He doesn't want to deal with him. So that's one stumbling block to this potential Mitch Moses to the Roosters deal is Politis is falling out with Isaac Moses, his manager. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure, mate.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. I'm just pointing that out. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, that's
player managers, man.
That's something that could hinder the chances of him going there.
I wonder I don't pay that much attention, but it seems like managers are in the news a lot around rugby league.
Yeah.
And I don't know about other sports, but is there that much? The managers in rugby league are like
they've got their hands on a lot of things.
Yeah, like it's a bit weird.
Just it's sort of. Especially with the junior footy now, obviously the managers have a lot of power, don't they?
Yeah.
Over the young kids, and so it's just the way the game is. Whether it's a positive, there's obviously been talk about that sort of stuff for a long time. And look, I'm sure managers do plenty of good things. I had a mate of mine who was doing my stuff at the back end, and got a great relationship with him, and he did a lot for me. And a lot of these managers do a great job for some of these young kids. They give them a lot of guidance and give them a lot of opportunities. So yeah, it's probably purely individual. Players, some players fall out with them. Some have good relationships.
There's some players that became managers. Didn't Braithen Astor remember?
That's the thing. Yeah. You get the impression with someone like Braithen Astor, like he's one of those managers who obviously he's done well for himself. So he seems like the sort of manager who's not just in it for the money. Like he's thinking about the welfare of his players.
Yeah.
He's because he's been a player, he's thinking, well, what's in the best interest of the player as opposed to, what's in the best interest of my bank account.
Yeah, well, that's what you want. You're putting trust into someone and paying them to do a job. So, as I said before, you hear plenty of good stories, and you hear some stories where players aren't being looked after from their managers. But yeah, the good ones, as I said, I had a great relationship with my mate that was looking after me and still do. He did plenty of things for me. So it depends on the individual, but be a good money maker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get enough players.
have you thought about going down that path yourself of being a player manager?
Nah.
No, not for you.
Never say never.
You have to get certified and stuff. That's why, the whole thing around Coda Nassa couldn't represent Sonny Bill because he wasn't certified by the NRL.
Yeah.
And they had the certification just because they decided the managers had too much power. Doesn't seem to have done anything. Anyway, so I'm still on the Roosters. How do you think they're going to go for the rest of the year?
Yeah, they're in a great position, the Roosters. I think, obviously, the points they've been leaking the last couple of weeks has been a bit of a worry. I think the statistic with those two teams, Melbourne and Penrith as well, is a big worry. 1 in 20, I think it was.
Yeah. They don't have a great record against those teams, do they?
Yeah.
So they got an 1 in 20 since 2020, I think.
How's their run
those
home?
Two teams.
They got the bye, right? They had the bye last round or whatever, and then they got.
They have won 6 of their last 7 though too.
They got Eels, Titans, Raiders, Rabbitohs.
It's a great roster. The boys know how to win there, don't they? And they'll find, you've only got to win one game basically at the back end of the year when you're playing those teams, or potentially 2. But there's not many more games they have to nail. If they can get all the lessons they've learned off their losses, well, they're every chance. On paper, their roster's just as good as
everybody's.
Anyone. Yeah. And the players that they've got can go with anyone. So it's just an interesting one. Obviously, I know the boys would have been doing plenty of work on the previous losses to those teams, and we know what it's like. You do everything you can to find ways to get the result the next time. So I can't wait to watch that game again in the finals, though. Regardless who the Roosters play, whether it's Penrith or Melbourne, and how both teams attack the game and try and pull each other's pants down, it'll be really interesting because the Roosters would have learned a lot of lessons out of the last loss. At the moment, though, it's the way Nathan Cleary's been handling pressure situations. Yeah, everything's just been so good to watch. I don't know how any team can stop him at the moment in big games.
Yeah.
He's Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, since coming back from that hamstring injury, he kicked a golden 2-point field goal against the Dolphins, scored a hat-trick against the Dragons, scored the winning try against the Knights, and kicked the match-winning conversion against the Eels. So it's not a bad run on his comeback.
He's come back better, hasn't he?
Yeah. That's one of the things I saw, because last year he was out for a period in the middle of the year as well.
Yeah, he came back better.
Yeah, he came back better. So is that the tactic?
I said to someone, I think it's almost a benefit, because the thing was that Penrith was still winning when he was out.
Yeah.
So you've got your best player and the student of the game that he is. He goes away. You can actually, times when I've been out injured, if you use the time productively, you can actually become back better because your body's more healthy when you come back. You've got more energy. And if you're a student of the game, you're watching and critiquing things from a coach's point of view. So I always found that I could come back better. So it's almost a blessing for them. If they were losing, it's a negative. But his team had to win without him. They found ways to win without his voice out there. Still got the results, and then they bring back a fresh Nathan. So it's almost a blessing. And I think with the way coming off 3 premierships as well, like it's very hard physically. Like it's going to be exhausting.
Yeah,
the little breaks rooms almost.
They're playing. If Storm Panthers are playing each other,
that's a huge game.
It can be the minor premiership decider.
I can't wait for that one.
Nathan Cleary going up against Jerome Hughes.
He's the gun.
That's a heavyweight bout. That one.
I reckon he's the second best halfback in the league. We just don't pay as much attention to him because he's in New Zealand.
I agree. I reckon he's top 2 for sure.
Yeah,
Panthers have won 5 of their last 7 against the Storm.
You look what he's done this year as well. We had Munster and Pappenhausen out, and then potentially win Dally M and potentially win minor premiers. Name another half that can play that type of footy, be on the top of the ladder without their 2 best players in the spine. It's unheard of.
Yeah.
It's unheard of. So I think he's so underrated.
Yeah. Because they talk about, because it's the thing, because whenever there's the New Zealand guys, they don't get included in the Origin talk. So when you're looking at, who are the best halfbacks in the league, people will go there's, Nathan Cleary, because he plays for New South Wales, Australia, has he won a Dally M yet, whatever. Daly Cherry Evans, because he plays for Queensland. But they don't go Jerome Hughes.
You get more attention, don't you?
Yeah. So he's so good. And that Thursday night game is going to be a cracker. I'm happy I'm going to be able to watch that one. So your other club, the Knights, they're just outside there. I don't think they'll make it. But what do you think? So they got a pretty... What's their run home?
Yeah, they're in 10th spot, only a game outside the 8, the Knights.
And they got the one last week, didn't they, against Tigers?
Oh, yeah, they lost 3 in a row going into that game, so that was a much-needed win against the Tigers for them.
Count. It doesn't count.
Run home for the Knights is...
It's the Sharks this week, then Rabbitohs, Titans, Dolphins. See, that's what I was saying. They got 4 teams, or 3 teams, that can put 40 on them.
Yeah, South.
Except for South. They got the Sharks, who could win 44-0. They got Titans, who could win or lose 44-0. They got the Dolphins.
So if they lose Cronulla this week, are they gone?
Yeah, so I'll have a look at the ladder. So last year, the team, and last year's ladder was important because it had the 7/8 team coming in with the Dolphins. So last year you needed to win 13 to make the 8. The teams that won 13 or more made the 8.
Yeah.
The teams that won 12 or less didn't make the 8. So if we look at the Knights, they've won 9. They'd have to win their last 4 to get to 13 wins. I mean, they could get
every game.
Well, they could get there with 12, but 13 guarantees it. So
3 guaranteed wins.
Yeah,
potentially.
Well, going by last year's ladder, they need to win every game to make it. Yeah.
That'd be a tough ask, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then, so if they lose against the Sharks this week, it's still possible for them to make it. But it's how much will that affect them? Like, they lose against the Sharks this week, then they've got to win their next 3 to then maybe get into the 8. How much will that affect their preparation and mentally? Do you think? Like now we have.
I just think the thing with Knights, it's just they haven't improved, have they?
No.
Like regardless how it finishes up, like they were second round of the finals last year. Obviously, even last year at the start of the year, they were obviously in a hole, and then
they were going to sack Adam O'Brien.
Yeah.
And then they went on that 10-game run after Kalen
Ponga run.
Kalen Ponga got dropped from Origin, and it seemed like he took that to heart and went out and carved everyone up for 10 rounds.
Yeah.
It saved Adam O'Brien's job.
Yeah, it's sort of a bit stop-start up there. It's been like that for a long time. But they've got a big pack though, don't they, Newcastle? Like they got a big pack. They got obviously KP there. Got good centres. It's just
they have so many good players, man.
They have, yeah.
And you see that try that they scored on the double soccer kick the other day? Where accidentally kicked it.
He's a freak.
Like, see, they got Dane Gagai in the back line. So there's still the spine is Willie Mason's spine. That is probably still letting them down because it's the same thing. Like, what did Willie Mason say?
Yeah, last year he said he didn't rate Tyson Gamble and he thought it was all to do with Ponga.
Like
the Knights went on that run.
You look at their spine and Kalen Ponga and you don't know.
It's hard to disagree with that, right?
So they got, because that was Willie Mason's thing. You look at their spine, they got Kalen Ponga and then 3 other guys that I don't know, nobody knows who they are. So it's Kalen Ponga, Tyson Gamble. This week it's Phoenix Crossland.
They were good last week, Phoenix.
Yeah, Jaden Brayley. They bought Jack Cogger up there from Panthers. But their pack is so good, Tyson Frizzell, that Pearce Paul's heaps good.
He's been good, yeah. Will Price, he hasn't. Did he get injured after his last couple of games?
I think so. He's out. Yeah.
Played well in his debut.
Adam Elliott's going well. Daniel Saifidi, but then still, I just can't see him. Out of those 4 games they've got, they'll beat the Rabbitohs, I reckon. But then the other 3 are too much of a coin flip, and you don't want to rely on 3 coin flips.
Yeah, Will Price back in the extended squad for this week's game against the Titans, but he's named as the 21st player there, so in the reserves. So we'll see what happens with that.
So I don't think the Knights will make the 8. You reckon?
I can't see him making it. Nah.
And so it'll be the Dragons.
I think Dragons probably on form. I know you don't get picked. You don't make the 8 on deserving. I suppose Yeah.
But I think the bottom. I
think Dragons probably on form should have.
Yeah, it's going to be the Dolphins or the Dragons. They're the 2 little.
I know you're a Dragons fan. I'd like to see Dolphins in there because I think they've had a good year. Well, I love their centres. Farnworth, I love. Yeah, he's such a good player.
They dropped a lot.
Been really good.
They dropped a lot of form when Wayne Bennett signed with Souths, and then everyone started making the jokes that Wayne Bennett started coaching Souths.
Souths, yeah, they started getting better.
Souths suddenly started going.
Katoa's been good.
Who's the half of the Dolphins?
Katoa.
He's so good, man.
He's so good. He's only 19 too, isn't he? 19, 20, old played in Union.
Dragons don't deserve to be there. Dolphins deserve to be there a little bit more. I'm surprised the Cowboys made it.
I thought they were. When they lose bad cows, don't they? Yeah. But they can score some points. Manly's a dark horse for me.
Tommy Turbo, he's found his range.
Yeah, and Cherry's obviously a big game player. Brooksy's really solid.
Scored a double last week, Turbo. 100 tries for the club.
Yeah.
It's a good strike rate, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many games has he played?
Check that for you.
Because, I mean...
About 12.
Yeah.
He's been out injured for the rest. Been out injured for the rest of it.
He's so good.
147.
100 tries in 147 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's according to Wikipedia.
So there's 148 on Rugby League Project. Maybe this is more up to date.
Yeah.
How old's Turbo now?
27.
He's getting on a bit, eh?
Yeah, and he's been around for a while. But you hardly
20, so 28 next year.
Yeah.
28 next year. What's his brother? 30.
Jake is.
Tom's 27, turning 28 in October.
Jake is 30. Yeah. Oh, these young people. So that's like.
100 tries in 148 games.
So he's been playing now 9 years and he's only hit 147
What was
games.
Snake, Brett Stewart? He would have been... How many tries did Brett?
Check that out.
What did he get?
That was a weird thing with Manly, eh? They went from one brother fullback and back rower duo to another brother.
Unbelievable, eh? And local... Oh, no, obviously they're locals, aren't they?
Brett Stewart won 63 tries in 233 games.
Wow.
So yeah, I think the Knights won't make it. And moving along to the new teams. So there's Bears. You're in the Bears.
What's going on there?
So that Australian federal government was going to give money if the NRL did PNG.
Yeah.
But then the issue with the PNG...
What's the reason for that? Was that something to do with the...
Because they want to strengthen ties in that Pacific region to prevent China from taking over the shipping.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a whole political thing.
So we're probably going to...
And then the problem was, to go and live in PNG, the players were like, PNG's like a bit dangerous, you know.
Yeah.
So there was a player kind of feedback that was like, we kind of don't want to live there. From... like Australian-based rugby league players. Obviously, PNG players would be like, "Yeah, we want to live there."
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why the PNG Hunters don't play out of PNG; they play out of
Queensland.
Was there talk of the split, like locals to imports?
That's what they originally wanted, but then the Australian government was like, "No, you have to be based out of PNG."
But I'm saying in the team,
yeah, you'd have locals and
50%.
No, it's just
players,
whoever
or
make
could
it.
Be all.
It would be whoever make it.
Yeah.
The PNG Hunters is mostly PNG players in the Queensland Cup.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if it's the squad.
Yeah,
really
they should definitely get locals. And then, like the players were like, I don't want to go live there. So then there was the rumours that the Australian government was like, we will build you a complex in PNG. You know, that you can all live in.
And also expats there, isn't there? In Papua New Guinea, big businesses
But then they're going to give tax breaks to any Australian-based player who goes and lives and plays in PNG. But then
that's pretty tempting.
It's all too hard.
What, tax-free?
Well, no, tax breaks.
Oh, tax
breaks. Going over there on 1.1,
but
no tax.
All too hard.
You'd be looking at because you'd pay half in tax here.
And you get a place to live, like a gated community
That's
to live
in. That's like the Rugby League of Saudi Arabia, the players go over there.
That's the problem, right?
No tax.
It's all too hard. And so that's why Western Australia and the Bears were able to sneak in earlier.
Yeah.
So they can get that up and running next year, basically. You know, they can confirm it for next year. But then the one after that will definitely be apparently PNG.
Yeah.
And then they want an extra one extra to get to 20 teams by 2028, 2030, I think.
Yeah, and that'll be to get 10 games for the TV deal. Yeah. So this is the Western Bears. They're going to have a new version of the logo with the main colours to be red, white, and black, but there'll be a touch of yellow as a nod to the Western Reds. So.
My only theory on having another team is the depth of players.
Yeah, they reckon there's enough now. That's the thing. They reckon there's enough now because of the how many years ago when the NRL signed that exclusivity arrangement with touch football, and it gave them an extra 100,000 players or something like that.
Yeah, right.
And now I was actually talking to a few guys I know who are heavily involved in rugby union, and there's a bunch of those rugby union schools that are dropping union.
To put league in.
And that's the NRL is talking to these schools to put league in.
Like
instead.
private schools?
Yeah, private schools like Millington and
to put league
Shaw
in.
and stuff like that. Yeah. And so, because that's
massive.
Not only is that like a massive breeding ground, but that's where Union basically now gets their money from.
Well, the thing, the lure for us, is because the money in the game now and Union players coming through, they're going, well, unless I go overseas and play in the south of France or in England or Japan, if they're good enough, the lifestyles, the reward that they're going to get out of Australian rugby is not the same. So, how good our NRL and the media rights is going for us is going to be an attraction, which is a good thing. Because there was a bit of a worry there for a while, wasn't it? Around a lot of the parents turning into soccer and that type of stuff. But I think the way the game's just created such money in it and the profile around it now, it's a lure for so many people. But if we can attract some of those Union players from an early age, that's going to strengthen the game massively. Yeah, we lose a lot. Those private schools and the funding that they have and the privileges that they get out of those schools, if you could turn that into a league school,
well, that's because massive. Union's TV deal was last one was 110 million over 2 years, which is like nothing. But then they get so much because, people from those private schools like Shaw and Newington and King's Academy, of course, the Kings and stuff like that. King's Academy is a jiu-jitsu school. Kings, their alumni donate money to Rugby Union. So that's where they get a lot of their money. And so there's no pathways anymore for Australian, the kids to go into Rugby Union, really, because Rugby Union is so terrible in Australia. So, I was talking to guys on Saturday about it, and they were talking about Newington and Shaw, who are thinking of dropping their Rugby Union programs and converting it. And then NRL's trying to get into Rugby Union. And
when they sign someone like a Suoliti, isn't it private benefactor money that...
That's how they get their money.
Yeah.
They can't, because that's the thing with school. Big difference with Union is...
private benefactors.
Suoliti is going to go to, where is it? The Waratahs or whatever. Is it the Waratahs? I don't even know. I don't care.
Did he go on Japan? No.
No, he's going to...
Waratahs. Waratahs.
But so he signs for the Waratahs and doesn't get that much money. But then the Australian Rugby Union gets a private benefactor to fund him signing for the Wallabies. Okay. So for the Waratahs, he might get, $100,000, but then playing for the Wallabies, he gets $500,000.
Yeah, right. So they get the double contracts.
Yeah, and that's the big attraction, right? Because they have then they don't play for the Waratahs or whatever that much. They try and play more for international. But Australian Rugby Union internationally is really terrible as well. They can't win anything.
Nah. That's why they all go to Japan and France, don't they?
Yeah.
Because there's not enough money in it and actually prestige in it for post games. How many ex-Rugby Union players really does anybody care about and can continue to get sponsorships and spokesmen and things and stuff? As opposed to
grouse in the 90s though, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I fully don't understand.
Ella Brothers,
Tim Horan, John Eales, Matt Burke,
George Gregan,
buying everyone for Rugby League, Lottie and Wendell and
Michael Liner.
But God knows what happened. They died.
The Bears are going to expected to host a pre-season game at North Sydney Oval, and there'll be a heritage match during the season against Manly that'll either be played at North Sydney Oval or at Allianz or Central Coast Stadium. The North Sydney Bears in the New South Wales Cup will be their feeder team. So
it's also a sucky travel.
Yeah, it'll be. Where's the other options that they were talking about expanding?
Another Queensland team.
Was there talking of another New Zealand team as well? I think that'd be
big too.
That'd be pretty.
That's probably going to be the 20th. They're not going. They shouldn't do another Queensland team.
Yeah.
You sort of feel like maybe they're expanding too quickly. Then again, the TV networks don't care about that, do they? They just want the extra content to...
Is it AFL has 20 teams, yeah?
18
teams? AFL aren't...
But they're bringing in Tasmania.
Yeah. Tasmania.
Yeah, they're building a stadium.
Who's on top?
Yeah.
AFL?
The Swans.
The Swans on top.
They got hammered by Port. They got hammered by Port Adelaide, annihilated by Port Adelaide, but then they beat Collingwood last week. Yeah. So.
I got my sister has members tickets actually. I can see if she's using them.
That'd be awesome. When's the next
Swans game?
There's a ladder if you want to look at it.
Richmond's just gone backwards, haven't they?
Yeah.
Dusty Martin just retired, didn't he? Dusty Martin.
Fixtures the Swans.
Collingwood look like they're not going to make the 8 after winning the premiership last year.
Oh, there's only 2 weeks to go. Swans last home game is next week.
Because they have a week off.
And a real game on Monday.
And they have. I think they've brought in a week off at the end of the regular season.
Yeah. Everybody gets a bye.
I don't know about that because then the teams that are in the top 4, right? So you get a week off before the first final, then you win that first final, and then you get a week off.
You lose your momentum a little bit.
That's only one game in. You have a week off the week before, a week off
3
after.
weeks.
You risk being underdone. It's sort of
Crazy that runs crazy that way.
Next Saturday is the Swans' last home game.
In Sydney?
Yeah. SCG.
Who are they playing?
The Crows. So this will be a smashing as well.
I'll try and get there actually.
Last thing before we wrap up, we already talked about the top 8. Origin. We're going to talk about Origin.
Yeah.
I should just before do you mind if I just ask? Sorry to put you on the spot. Who do you think plays in the grand final this year? If you have to say, hard
Roosters.
to go. Roosters, yeah.
And
who do they play?
I'll say
Dragons.
Yeah, okay.
Dragons.
Roosters, Penrith.
Roosters, Dragons. Roosters, Penrith.
Yeah. And Panthers win? No, I have not.
Roosters.
Roosters win. I like it how you always tip the Roosters.
I worked it.
I get heaps of I get hammered for not tipping the Dragons by a bunch of other guys who watch. They fully hammered like Vic. He hammered me the other week when they beat. Who did they beat? Brisbane. Full hammered me like. But you know.
Melbourne too, Dragons.
Oh, that's who they beat. Melbourne. Yeah. Oh my god. But, yeah. Origin. So, what'd you think?
How good was it?
Yes.
The game itself, how the physicality. Remember I played 2015 or 17. I played the first game up there, and I was saying it was most ball in play in the first half. I remember it was the opening game we won up there. That was the last game I remember. That was probably the hardest game I've played. I remember Cameron Smith even came out after saying it was one of the hardest Origins he's played, and then I heard the same thing about a fair few players in this game. But yeah, watching it physically, like it was just relentless, eh?
Yeah,
just
crazy,
relentless, the speed, but yeah, it was so good to see us. The way we played, obviously, physically we aimed up, which we did all series, but physically the boys just kept throwing punches, and then the unsung hero, who is the hero, Jerome.
Yeah.
Just he came up with that moment, and I've said it a few times as well. Like, he's won 3 competitions. He's won a couple of Origin series now. You could retire tomorrow and be pretty happy with those statistics.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't get the credit he deserves, I don't think.
Nobody picked him before.
Nah.
Nobody. Not just amongst us, but nobody had him.
The most impressive thing from the series for him, obviously Mitch had an unbelievable couple of games, but like Jerome, his short kicking game's so underrated. Like there was so many times when he's the one who forces restarts. He's the one who comes up with the big moments for New South Wales. I think people just sort of, I don't know, he just doesn't get that credit. But throughout the series, even in the game 1 when we were down a man, he was the one who was asking most questions. Yeah. Coming up with little plays, set up that try for Teddy, and then game 2, he had about 2 or 3 short kicking restarts, and that stuff's so underestimated, and then he comes up with the big moments. So I thought he was unbelievable. And then obviously Mitch as well.
That was a Joey commentary. This is where you want your halfback to stand up and do something. And
he killed it, didn't he?
And then Mitch Moses cut through the line. Well, I thought the best play, no bias, was the Zach Lomax waiting to tackle. It was Reece Walsh. Yeah. Where Reece Walsh was on his knees and had to stand up, and then Zach Lomax carried him out. Like, it was such a brilliant play in defence. Like, he didn't touch him, so he had to stand up. He didn't have a choice, and then Zach Lomax was able to take him out and get the ball back.
It shows good composure too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like that you got a clear head under pressure.
Yeah, it was just
in a big game.
It was amazing, and it like kind of epitomised what Zach Lomax is all about to all the Dragons fans, and now we hate the fact he's going to Barra. But it was like
he was one of our best, wasn't he? Like in the series, it was a bit of a breakthrough for him too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's copped a bit of criticism with all the transition going to a different club. There was all sort of negative around him, and then every game he was our best nearly.
Yeah.
I thought, like over the series, he could have, if he got man of the series, I wouldn't have argued. Like I thought he was that good, just all the little efforts, like you just spoke about, his efforts in the air to catch kicks, little moments like you said, little smart moments, with and without the ball. So he's Unbelievable.
It's going to be interesting to see him at Para next year. They got... Who's their coach?
Riles.
Yeah.
He sacked everyone. He sacked his ex-teammate Trent Barrett.
It's interesting because he seemed to hold out to wait for the right gig, and you sort of look out at how Parramatta are now, and you go, maybe he should have kept waiting.
He was chased by everyone.
You can't wait forever.
He's got a fair bit to work with there.
Yeah.
He's got a good roster.
But he was chased by everyone last year and then was basically kind of told, don't go anywhere because next year will be Craig Bellamy's last and you'll take over Melbourne. And then Craig Bellamy signed an extension. So Riles was like, yeah, you can't wait around forever. You know, how long are you going to go?
I think it's a good move for him. I think they got, like you said, they can lock in Mitch and then get rid of the rumours about him leaving. They obviously need him. Yeah. I reckon he can try and unlock a bit what they got there. To me, it's just, I don't know if it's been the same voice for too long with Brad Arthur. Maybe that was the reason for the change, but
they have a roster.
They got so much more than what they're offering at the moment.
You look at their team, like Gutho at the back, and then Targo and Penasini, Blaze Talangi's gone, right?
He's going to Penrith.
That's a big loss.
But Zach Lomax is coming in.
He'll be good for Penrith.
Talangi.
Blaze, yeah.
And then Dylan Brown and Mitch Moses, obviously. And then their forwards are like they've got the team, and it's just weird that often Goey's staying, right? Yeah, it's weird that they're going as badly as they are, but it just comes down to the coach. And Mike Acevo is still to come back.
Is Nathan Brown there? Did I see it? Assistant coach Nathan Brown.
Right now, I think he is.
No, next year.
Is it next year? I know it's. Is it next year?
Or maybe he's there now in Pathways. I just thought I saw that Brownie was a chance of being the assistant there.
No, he's been. Oh, that was last year.
Oh, was he there already?
It was there in last year, and he's gone.
Oh, he got moved on too.
Yeah.
Right.
He's gone to the Gold Coast. It's the problem is they have the player Nathan Brown there. So when you search for Nathan Brown,
you get onto everything quickly.
Yeah, so this is, as of the 6th of August, this report, former Dragons, Knights and Warriors coach Nathan Brown set to sign on with the Eels as an assistant.
Yeah, he was there last year. He moved to the Gold Coast this year and now he's coming back.
Oh, so he's been halfway there, has he?
Yeah, that's according to News Corp. Yeah,
right.
But yeah, it's weird because they have there's the player, right? Nathan Brown, the player. It's hard to search for Nathan Brown.
Yeah, him and Jason Riles
reunited. It's getting dated.
You know?
Yeah. Wrong brownie. Yeah, so that's it for now. You're off to France, right?
Yeah, I'm going there in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, Mrs. is over there at the moment, so go and relax for a month, see some family, and then I'll be back.
During the finals?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I know.
How do you watch football over there?
Computer.
Oh, okay. Illegally? Are you allowed? I don't even know. I can't remember. I've never been overseas during a rugby league season, so I've never had to watch. Is it on the internet?
There's a box you can get over there.
Yeah,
that's for another time.
I remember in the UK you'd go to the old Shepherd's Bush to watch the Origin, but that's as much as I know about watching the NRL in Europe or the UK.
You live over there?
Oh, I spent some time over there.
Yeah.
10, 11 years ago. Yeah, and that was the go-to in London if you wanted to watch the NRL or Origin or whatever.
Yeah.
The Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah,
that went all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been anywhere during rugby league season, so I've got no idea. Actually, don't go anywhere ever. All right, thanks for coming, man. That's good.
Thanks, Mitch. Thanks for coming in.
When you get back, we'll have to catch up again.
For sure. Can't wait.
Awesome.
And don't forget to follow out SmartB app on the internet and social media, and we'll see you guys all next week. Bye.